What should be India's strategy to tackle China and Pakistan individually? So, so in the past, many Indian leaders and prime ministers have said that it is in India's interest to have a strong and stable and prosperous Pakistan. Well, that is nonsense. A strong and stable and prosperous Pakistan will always be used by China as a proxy against India and as a destabilizing force on our western boundary. What India needs, see, basically Pakistan is Indian territory which was given up against without consulting the people. So I regard Pakistan as unfinished business. It is Indian territory which will eventually, in the long run, be reintegrated with the mother nation. As of now, Pakistan is an antagonistic power. It is not powerful in its own right. It is powerful because it is propped up by the Chinese. What India needs to do in the immediate future, 5, 10, 20 years maximum, is ensure that Pakistan is Balkanized. So we need to ensure that the various independence movements and freedom struggles within Pakistan, and there are many, many of these, and these are very justifiable because people have been oppressed brutally for decades in Pakistan. It's a horrible place. It's a terrible place to live in, and it's a one-party rule. It's the army that rules the country. The so-called prime minister is just a puppet. It's just a punching bag. So India needs to encourage this, and India needs to engineer peacefully, peacefully, uh, a peaceful and democratic Balkanization of Pakistan. Sindh should become independent. Balochistan, Punjab, uh, the northern areas can reintegrate with Afghanistan, and Kashmir should return to its home country, its homeland, etc. So that's what needs to happen. Gilgit Baltistan and POK should return where they belong. And once this happens, then we can deal with each of these independent regions independently, nicely, kindly, and we can help them out. And slowly over time, we can reintegrate them. So this should be the immediate objective, next 10, 20 years maximum. We can't wait longer than that. When it comes to China, India's objective should be to liberate Tibet from China. Now, this is not a short-term process. It will not happen in the next 10 years. Right? China is too powerful right now. India is too weak. India has no military strength to speak of. We have an enormous army. The strength of your army doesn't depend on the number of soldiers you have, my friends. Your soldiers may be the bravest soldiers in the world. It matters not at all. 1962 also we had the bravest soldiers in the world. What matters is the equipment, the infrastructure, and the technology and the hardware. It all depends on the hardware, the technology, and that's what matters. The quality of your heart, how brave you are, doesn't matter anymore in warfare. So that's what India needs to enhance. India needs to invest in its armed forces, and one day maybe we should give ourselves a 10-20 year time limit. We can basically engineer the freedom of Tibet from illegal and brutal Chinese occupation. So if we can do that, then India's northern border will again be peaceful. It will again be a culture that is basically the same as our culture. It will be people who are basically very, very friendly towards us. We could, if Tibet was free, we could even have open borders with them, the way we have with Nepal. So all the border problems would go away if that were to happen. So that should be the objective vis-a-vis China and Pakistan. With China, it's all about Tibet. With Pakistan, it's all about basically helping these independence movements out, because these are valid independence movements. That this is an artificial nation. It has no business existing, right? Pakistan has never existed before 1947. There was no nation of Pakistan. There was no concept of Pakistan. Even today, Pakistan is an artificial nation. It doesn't have an identity and culture of its own. It's all borrowed. So this nation has no business existing. It is Indian territory, and we need to engineer peacefully in the best optimum way possible. It's slow but steady reintegration into India, and the starting process is to balkanize it peacefully.